Hello everyone, my name is Charanjit from Asian Women Wisdom, and today I'm really delighted to have as my guest Shobana Kataria.
Hi.
Shobana is a mother of two grown-up girls and she also runs her own IT business. Welcome Shobana.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
We'd really love to know a little bit more about you, so perhaps you can fill us in on your background and what you do.
Okay, so I was born in India. I was born in Bombay and had what you would call a traditional Indian upbringing. So I was second of three girls, so I was number two of three, and went to a school in India, brought up with Indian values, and came to this country in England when I was 8. And then went to school in England, went to senior school, went to, I guess you would call it a rough council estate nowadays, and went to university, did maths at university, and have had a career in computing in IT. So my career is 35 plus years in IT.
Wow.
And in that time I've been a developer, so I started life as a programmer, systems administrator, then worked for an IT hardware company on tech support, supporting the technical teams there, and then moved on to training, IT training, IT departments of corporates and government departments, systems administrators and systems developers, train people in languages like C, C++, and so on.
Gosh,
And then started my own IT business, doing training, and now I've had a business for 15 years selling disaster recovery software. So we have the UK distributorship of an IT product called Datakeeper, which is a replication, disaster recovery and business continuity software.
Wow, thanks Shobana. I mean, that just shows so many levels of competency in terms of the work you do.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing with these series of interviews is asking the question, what does it mean to be an empowered Asian woman? So I'd like to ask you that question.
Well, I don't see myself as an empowered Asian woman. I just see myself as a woman, and I don't even see myself as an Asian woman. I'm a woman. And in fact, I see myself as a person. When I'm working, obviously it's a very male-dominated environment that I've always worked in, but I don't see myself and the men in my department as anything different. I just see us all working in the same team, working on the same project, and even in my company, I'm MD of the company. I don't see myself as an Asian woman MD. I see myself as a person whose job it is to run the company to the best of my capability. And if anything happens within the company, it stops with me.
Yes.
Right. I'm MD, so it's my responsibility.
Yes.
So is it empowered? Not all the time.
Yes.
I'm not always empowered, but I do know that whenever there's a problem, I will take responsibility and I will do my utmost to handle what there is to handle.
Yes.
So that's what it means to me.
Yes. So from what you're saying, what I hear is that in terms of your success, in terms of your work, you are already empowered. I mean, you've achieved.
Yes. I mean, if your question is how have I achieved what I've achieved, it is really to. I think I have natural business ability and I have natural mathematical ability. So I have a very logical brain and I use the abilities that I naturally have to forward myself in my career, in my personal life, everywhere.
Okay.
And over time, something I've found invaluable is also building my own communication skills. So the more I can communicate myself and my needs and my values, I found the better the conversations go and the better life goes, really.
So all of these things that you've done, like developing your communication skills, have supported your success. So
absolutely.
Would you say there are any other factors that have supported your success? Would you say the community you come from, the family you were brought up in?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I come from an Indian culture which in some ways has suppressed my own suppressed my own voice many times over. But on the other side, the flip side of it, the Asian culture has given me values of hard work, of family, of community, and has really given me a grounding and a foundation that that has been amazing. You know, it's been an amazing step to my feeling of security, really, because I feel secure that my family are around me. I feel secure that there's community around me. And yes, there are downsides, like I said. The self-expression wasn't there at the beginning. I had a childhood and a mother who was very strict, who, you know, she had 3 girls. So she made us what she called good daughter-in-laws. You know, she used to say to us, "I'm making you a good daughter-in-law." So anything that was not like socially acceptable, she would squash in us. You know, so any temper tantrums and like we had to learn to please and appease like a lot of Asian women, and you know that's very much a pattern that I think a lot of Asian women have. On the plus side, because we please and appease, we get things done. You know, there's a positive too. Where it becomes dysfunctional is where you lose your voice and your ability to express your point of view when it needs expressing. So people just don't know what you think because you're so busy pleasing other people. So that's the plus and the minus to it all.
That's right. So I hear what you're saying, that in terms of the family security, that was a big factor contributing to your success.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, there's many things which you felt meant you were suppressed and stopped you from expressing yourself, expressing your creativity.
It was quite a weird situation, really, because I was in a very traditional family. I married into a very traditional family very young. I was 21 when I got married. So we would have to wear saris and cook chapatis and you know, do all that. I would do that in the evening, and then the next morning I put on my suit and go into a corporate job. And it was like I was 2 different people in both of those environments. So in my work I was like fully in control, and I knew I was doing really well all the time, much better than my peers. I was earning a good salary, you know, much better than other women my age, because of the field that I was in and the expertise that I'd got. And when I came home, you know, often we had to go to in-laws, and like, you know, my husband had 4 brothers, so we were feeding like 5 brothers and 1 father-in-law, so 6 men. And so we were in the kitchen washing up and doing the cooking and so on. And so it was literally like 2 extremes. And the strange thing was, at university I was a feminist, so like I was really for empowering women, and yet when it came to my own home environment, I just somehow didn't have the courage to express it. And also I didn't have the support, and nothing around me supported a woman being empowered and self-expressed and so on. Everything around me was about keeping the status quo, you know.
I'm sure a lot of women listening are going to be able to relate to what you're saying. So on the one hand, in terms of your work, you're fully self-expressed,
successful, everything,
being doing a pretty good job actually. Whereas on a personal level, you had to conform to what society or what the culture expected from you. So in that term, would you say it's tougher for women from our background?
I think it depends on the age. I mean, I'm in my mid-50s, so, you know, at the time, the done thing was to marry early. I married when I was 21, which was old in those days, and my mother got stressed that I waited till I was 21. And it was tough because we had conflicting conflicting ideas. So I was brought up in England, where, you know, everything was different to the Asian world that I grew up in up until the age I was 8. So there wasn't a consistency in my upbringing. There was like a split. So very Indian, went to an English school, and English values were there, and especially the teenage years. The girls were going out with boys, and then got home, and my mum was like, "Don't get near boys," and so it was like, "Whoa, what do I do?" And so it was tough from the point of view there was no consistency, and being a teenager was tough as well, because I didn't know what was what, and hormones raging, and all that stuff going on, and there was a lot of pressure into what I should do. Like, I should get married, and actually I shouldn't have gone to university, but my dad wanted us to go, so I was lucky from the point of view my dad did educate us. And when I got married, it was like I should go to mother-in-law's, I should have children. I did everything I should do, right? Because I just didn't want to upset my parents. I didn't want to upset my in-laws. I didn't have the power in myself. I wasn't empowered, and I was an incredibly shy person. I was incredibly shy, not having been taught these skills of communication and self-expression. I just stayed because it was the easiest thing to do.
And actually, listening to you now, it's really hard to believe that you're in that position, because I know you as someone who's very self-expressed. You've actually just come back from walking the Camino, which is a spiritual walk in Spain.
And in fact, 130 kilometres in 6 days.
That's absolutely amazing. And you and I actually met on the party island of
Yeah.
Ibiza. So there you go. And you've been to New York this year.
Yeah, I went to New York by myself, yes. And,
absolutely. So
been to India by myself, and
So going from that place where you described earlier, where you did feel you had to conform in your personal life, where you did feel disempowered, what did you have to overcome to get to where you are right now, which is a completely different one?
It's been a very long journey, and it's been, what did I have to overcome? Well, myself mostly.
Right. Okay.
I had to overcome my own limitations, my own fears, my own expectations of myself, and my own need to be perfect all the time. I have this thing that everything has to be perfect, and I have to be perfect, and I have to please everybody. So they're all conversations that I have in myself. So I had to overcome all of that, and I had to overcome. Like my mother always used to have this thing where, what will other people say? Whenever we did anything that was slightly outside the norm, it was like, what will other people say? You've done this, what will other people say? And as you know, recently I've had a tattoo, and she would highly disapprove.
I love it.
Highly disapprove of that. But I know where she is now. She's great about it. So lots of things I've done which I've had to get rid of these cultural and ancestral conversations. In fact, in a nutshell, my journey has been everything that I was taught in my childhood. I've had to really put it in front of me, put a microscope to it, and say, is this something I want to keep or I want to throw away? And really, really evaluate it from that point of view. And some of it I've thrown away, and some of it I've kept. So this idea that what will other people say? You can only do stuff which keeps you under the radar. Don't raise your head above the parapet, and you can't do what you want. You have to please the elders all the time. I've got rid of all of that. It's always there to a degree, but to a large degree I now have an internal compass where I look to my internal moral compass rather than the external one that was instilled in me. And bits of it are still there. I've had incidents recently where I just do what other people expect because they expect it rather than say. Much less so nowadays.
Wow, it sounds amazing. So it sounds to me you've been on a real journey of re-evaluating your life and looking at where you are and looking at where you want to be.
It's my own personal growth and development, and being committed to my own personal growth and development in everyday life situations. Really,
and getting back in touch with that inner guidance of what works for you in your life and what doesn't work, and coming from that internal perspective rather than the out of
Yeah.
perspective
Yeah.
where the society
And
is leading
saying
to.
it when something isn't right for me. Just, simple things like when a group of friends get together and we say, oh, where shall we eat?
Yes.
And I always just say, oh, I don't mind where we eat, I don't
Yes.
mind. One person might say, well, I need Chinese, and another might want to say Italian, and so on. And I would never say. And it's just getting the courage to say, well, actually, I don't really eat wheat, so Italian doesn't usually work for me because it's pasta and pizzas.
Yes.
So it's having that voice, and it starts with the little things like
Absolutely.
the restaurant, and learning the little things like, oh, I like the colour blue, but I don't like the colour beige, or, saying what you like and what you don't like, saying what you want and what you don't want in the little things grows the muscle for the bigger things as well.
Absolutely.
And not being afraid to have even the bigger conversations with people, the conversations that might upset them. And my biggest fear was upsetting someone, because my mother was volatile, so it was like, do I say this? My mum might blow up at one point.
Yes.
So very cautious around people, sort of getting rid of that fear that I'm going to say something a bit difficult and that might upset someone, and allowing people to get upset if they want to, and understanding it's not my upset, it's theirs. Yeah? So the upset is the upset, and it doesn't have an ownership in me unless I allow it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like a gift that you don't have to accept.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
They can keep it,
Yes. And I really get how it's really inbuilt in us, our way of being from children.
Yeah.
We're brought up in a kind of structure of family, and how, yes, it does begin with those small steps. It really begins with those taking those small steps and asking yourself, what is it that I want for myself? Yes.
Where do I want to go? Where do I want my life to be? So I would say I led a very conveyor belt life, like normal conveyor belt. And life happened to me, and the journey has been really for me to show up in my life and say, actually, I want this in my life, or I don't want this in my life. And so creating my life as I want it, day by day, week by week, according to what I want to put in it, rather than what other people would like me to have in there.
Yes. So you're at the root of your success. You're causing your life, so to speak. That's just been absolutely really valuable information. Is there anything else, Shobana, you'd like to say about, or possibly give advice to other women who want to reach their dreams and goals and live a more...
Well, the first thing I'd say is don't take advice.
Listen to yourself, yes.
Absolutely. And, be true to yourself. Just be very, very true to yourself, because you know more than you think you know. You always know when something isn't right. You always know when something is right, and you always know when something works for you, and you always know when something doesn't. And also find your voice. In our culture, women are not given a voice. So my whole journey has been about finding my voice, and continues to be. How strong is my voice, and how aligned is it with my true self? So that's what I would say.
That is such valuable advice. And on that note, I'd really like to thank you, Shobana. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. I mean, there's so much gold in what you said there.
Thank you.
And I'd just really like to acknowledge you, just for being such a great inspiration, certainly a great inspiration to me for the time that I've known you, and for making such a difference out there.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.